Hello, people. We are back at To The Podcast, episode 110. 110. Back to give y'all 110 episodes.
Say 110.
110.
Yeah.
What did I say?
America says "and," but you don't. You should take the "and" out.
Just
and,
110.
And denotes a period. Like you say "and" when you're dealing with money and cents, but when you're just talking from a numerical aspect, people really aren't supposed to say.
Speak up.
I'm sorry. People really aren't supposed to say "and," but that's America's way. But "and" denotes a period, so you get $102.33, not $102.33. It's 102, 105, 110, 1,999, not 1,999.
Wow, learn something new every day. That is going down on what I learned, because what I learned ain't as good as that, and I'm sure everybody can take from that. So I learned something new today, 45 years old. I mean, I kind of knew that "and" denotes a period, but I didn't know
a period in money, of
right.
course.
And yeah, I was racist. I'm trying to translate that to English. And
No. When you're talking about numbers
Dollars
and
and
money,
cents.
yeah. Well, in numbers too, because if you say this is the 102nd episode, you don't say this is
the 102nd episode.
Yeah, or you don't say this is episode 102. This is episode 102.
102.
Yeah, you don't say "and."
You learn that from working in banks or school.
A little bit of both. I learned it from school, but then it also was reiterated. I know this is archaic, younger generations have no
seems like
idea,
something
but
you would know when you write checks.
Exactly,
and
that's what I was about
the
to
words
say.
And stuff
when you
like
write
that.
out a check, you write $5,362 and whatever the cents is. So the "and" is the period in money.
So if you wrote a check that said $110, you wouldn't take it, or you'd have them rewrite it? It's still the same thing, right? It's not like they're going to get cheated out of their money.
To be honest, I probably would have them rewrite it if they could, but I think if you present it to a bank, they would still cash it.
Okay.
But it's just not numerically or financially correct. I don't want to say it's not grammatically correct, because I don't know if it's a grammar thing, but yeah.
Well,
there we go.
Learn something new at the top of the show.
110th episode.
110th episode. Before
Episode
y'all even
110.
know who the fuck we are. I'm International Walk.
And it's your girl Taj, the co-hostess with the mostest.
And y'all can catch us on A2TP.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Anchor, Breaker, Google, YouTube, Spotify. Any more? TikTok, Twitter.
Yeah. Radio Public.
Yeah. And there you go.
And actually, I might as well have come on here teaching y'all something, since I am Professor Tosh,
Oh, wow, she can see.
Those who know me know
see.
I actually wear glasses in real life. I was always afraid that there would be a glare if I wore them during the show, so I never wore them.
But she would get up with a headache after the show, or her eyes are on her way to a headache.
Just staring for so long, even though I'm not reading anything, just not having them on, it would kind of throw me off. Or y'all would know if I had to read something, I'm like, what'd this say? Or I would ask him to read it. So he suggested, hey, why don't you just wear your glasses? So hopefully there's no glare.
Last week we had all 10s across the board in the check-in round. In the check-in. We don't expect that. That was kind of an anomaly, as 109 shows at that point. And there had never been a 10-10 across the board for her and me. So we'll see what goes this week. I don't think it's going to be a 10-10-10, but, just wanted to acknowledge again the sweep in the check-in round when we talking about, checking in on mental, finances, working physically. So how are you?
You never know what the next moment holds. That's why it's so important to celebrate those moments. I'm happy that not only do they know it and we know it, but it's recorded as part of history now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. I ain't 10s across the board today, though, I tell you that. But I'm not.
Just to think that it took, 109 episodes. I'm going to get used to that.
But it doesn't mean that we haven't felt like that on other days, moments.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for that
right.
to be the history, like the history of all the shows from one to up to that point. We always did the check-ins, and it's like, damn, we always knew as low as you could be a 7.5.
Right,
But we never
and you
checked
kind
in
of
at
set the
tens
bar with
across
that
the
because
board.
on some days, which I appreciate, because then that challenges us to do our best and feeling our best, even if we couldn't be a 10 by you setting that bar. So today I would say mentally I'm an 8. Wasn't really feeling my best. I had therapy session this morning, my good old morning mental workout. I don't even know. I would say my good mental, emotional, spiritual workout. It's like a combination. It's, when you do a full body workout, it's like, all right, it ain't leg day, it ain't arm day, it ain't weight day, it ain't cardio day, it's full body. That's how I feel about therapy. It's like full body. It doesn't include physical, but that mental, emotional, spiritual thing, I like it. So I'm gonna say,
I wonder what's the
I'm an
earliest
8.
she can do.
I think her day. I think 8. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure 8 because I don't think she's.
Because if I go back, when I go back to work, like by 8, I'm kind of wrapped up in shit, and I could like stop for however long I needed to because I'm the boss. But it's
it would
like
be awesome if you could do like a
been,
4 o'clock.
No, I'm already like in shit.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
like,
You're 4 o'clock when you start your day.
Yeah,
but that's pushing
be,
it.
Yeah.
You need like an international therapist
Yeah,
where they're in China and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon for them.
So 8 mentally. Finances.
Finances a 10. I don't have any complaints there.
Work.
Work is a 7.
Wow.
Oh, you said it can only be a 7.5.
Yeah.
It's a 7.5. Work is heavy, but I'm about to set some people straight. Sometimes when you do a good job, people don't understand what goes into it for that to continue. They just feel like, oh, well, why isn't this? And why isn't this? And why is this happening? And it's like, ho. We got to take a couple steps back because you can question me about it if it's your responsibility to do so, but don't question me with a negative perspective as if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do when I've been doing 2.5 jobs in one for the last 3 months. And
are you talking about that particular person or a boss?
No, I'm talking about my boss. But and it's not like I'm getting any harsh criticism, but there's just questions from that particular person and my boss because we work collectively. So I scheduled a meeting. Hey, we're gonna do a walkthrough so y'all can see how this process goes, so y'all can understand how manual it is. And I have an agenda. Anytime I schedule a meeting, and if I'm having an issue with something, I set an agenda or an outline of what I want to discuss. Because I always believe if you present a problem to somebody, you need to have a solution. They may not agree with that solution, but you at least you can't say, well, this ain't working. Well, what do you think will work? So that's my thing. This is the workflow. This is the process. This is how it's handled. This is how we can remediate some of the issues that are occurring. This is what I think would help. And if you don't agree, that's fine, but this is how it's gonna go. So work is a 7.5, and then just takes a little bit of straightening. That's all, a little bit of straightening.
It's kind of old, but I get it.
That's old.
A little bit of straightening.
Somebody said that like 2 years ago, right?
That was like 3-4 years.
I didn't know slang went out of style. Well, yeah, you can't say like something is on fleek anymore. So I guess some things don't go out of style.
Or that's
dope is like. I think dope is timeless.
Young people don't say that shit, babe.
I say dope.
Young people don't say that shit.
All right, and physically, I'm gonna say.
I remember years ago, my daughter texted me, she said to me, can't talk right now, OTP. Mm-hmm. And when I talked to her again, I was like, so you was on the prowl? And she was like, the fuck are you talking about? She was like, I was on the phone. And I'm like, oh, like I had no idea. And this was years ago, but I had no idea that meant on the phone. And when she said it, it was so like, click, like, the phone. And I'm like, why would my mind just go to my daughter being out on the prowl?
You knew O and T, so out of all the things that the P could have stood for, why did you think prowl?
I don't know. That sticks
it could have been on the potty, on I don't know, on the plane.
This is
but
when
you
like
said
text slang started being shorthand like that, and I was like OTP. Oh, I was like on the prowl. Was she outside? Like And then when I talked to her, she was like, no, like nobody's on the prowl.
Some of the text slang goes too far because I don't get it. You know what? I just figured out what FOE means when people like tag that in a post.
FOE.
Family over everything.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of personal.
Yeah, but I didn't get it.
Like some stuff in the beginning, like I didn't know what
but...
not safe for work meant when I used to see that on stuff. I don't like when I see Issa. You see that on Shade Room and stuff like that.
Because sometimes
I read that stuff as it is, and
that's
I'm like,
what it is, though. That it's they're writing that how people
I'm sorry.
say
When
it.
I see that, I think of Issa Rae. Every time I see that, I think like she's in the news for something, and I'm looking like they talking about it's a thing, like it's a
it's a thing. It's a boy. It's a girl. You know what? I just found out what FOMO meant. FOMO.
Okay, I think I know what it means.
Fear of missing out.
Yeah, I could have. Okay.
No, I didn't know. I actually heard it on a commercial, and I was like, oh, that's what like literally I think this weekend I found out what that meant.
Why do some people text the word that TH no AT like THT, and then they'll type the just TH, and then they'll type like the word thing will be TH
or was WS.
Yeah, and it's like what
that's
is that?
What I mean when I say some text language goes too far and these kids are dumb.
Yeah, like what the fuck is that?
It's no taking out the vowels. If you're gonna text me TH, don't skip over the A to put another T. Like put the A in there.
Yeah, I don't get that's so it's like a lot of effort to do that. Especially when it pops up. Well, when you continuously type like that, Siri will pop your words up.
Because she knows that's how you write.
That's
that's dumb. An abbreviation is one thing, but just and that's not even like shortening a word. Like you're just being lazy. Like that's all. But physicality, I'm an 8. You know, been getting into trying to establish a routine. My back has been trying to shut me down. I'm not going to let it. So that's where I am today. I am an 8.
Hope that you won't let it be. A back will shut anybody down.
Yeah, your back ain't no joke.
Just hope and pray on it. Keep heat on it.
I'm going to work through it.
Yeah, but don't just like, because a back will shut anybody down.
That's true. Your back is like
once that shit lock up, you done. You got stiff legs.
I couldn't walk the other day, y'all. Like I literally I had to walk like a 2-year-old learning how to walk. People they learn earlier than 2, right? Yeah, but you know what I mean. I had to walk like an 8-month-old. So I'm an 8, 10, 7.5, 8. That's where I am. How are you?
I'm better. I had a rough 2 days. Rough 2 days. But next week I go to the doctor. Hopefully I'm cleared to go back to work. My mental will be a lot more stimulated. But today I would say I'm a 7.5 on the mental. Finance.
Can I suggest something to you?
Yeah.
And it's just hit me. I want you to take the advice that you very often give to other people. Don't think about how things should be and then live in that moment. Live where your feet are and think about how things are and make the best of it. That's all.
I understand that and I live by that under the current circumstances and being it's like I'm not used to the space that I'm in and what happened to me, like it's just hard.
I understand.
Like it's extremely hard.
I 1,000% understand.
It's extremely
I just wanted
hard.
to give that to you as a reminder.
It's like and I'm not trying to, I don't even want to say that because it would sound like I'm minimizing, but it's not like I broke my leg.
I 1,000%
you know what I'm saying?
get it. But I just wanted to give that to you as a reminder because I know you give that to others as a reminder.
And I receive it. I receive it. I just, on the flip side, I'm not waiting 6 weeks to get a cast off.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? But I got positive energy. Finances is a 10.
Wait, what did you say your number was mentally?
7.5.
Okay.
7.5. 7.5. 10 on finances. Work's a 10 because I ain't there. But I'm coming back. Physicality, I feel good. Today we had a nice brisk walk. Mm-hmm. It felt like Mr. Spring said hello to us today. The sun was out. Like that shit make you want to start raking leaves and like get the blower out. So that felt good to breathe that deep. I haven't I haven't took breaths that deep in a couple days.
Breathed.
But that didn't sound right coming out. Breathed.
Bro.
But I haven't took breaths that deep in a few days, and that felt good in that type of temperature in that air. So
I haven't deeply breathed in that manner.
I got it out.
Yeah.
I got it out.
That was tripping me up.
So
too.
That's where I'm at. Wows and woes.
My wow this week. This was a rough week. Rough couple days. Jeez, sometimes the Super Bowl was a good experience. That was, I don't know if that was a wow necessarily. You know what I think? No, I know what my wow was. I know Valentine's Day, people focus on couples and all that kind of stuff, and it's beautiful. It's about love. But I love seeing parents dote on their children for Valentine's Day. When I was younger, 18, 19, my girlfriend Geneva, she was the first person that I ever seen that went all out for her daughter for Valentine's Day. It was weird, but not in a bad way. I was like, wow, this is dope.
I could appreciate seeing something like that, but it is a little weird because it's not what it's for.
It's
not what society says it's traditionally for.
But I think that's changing, though. That's the thing, because I've seen so many parents do what I saw her do 24 years ago, and it's like, are they
single people? Are they people without spouses?
No, couples. Parents. Actually, my boss yesterday told me, he was like, I'm getting off at 5. Me and my wife and my daughter, it's Valentine's Day, taking them to dinner,
that I could imagine if it's just him, his wife, and daughter.
But I'm just saying, being inclusive of children. That's all I'm saying. And again, I saw, daddies giving flowers to daughters. I seen, parents giving gifts from mommy and daddy. And like I was saying, when I was younger, Geneva, she would buy her daughter the heart pajamas and maybe some slippers and a little teddy bear. And just the little cute, kind of how people do Easter baskets, a Valentine's Day basket. And I thought that was so cute. That just warmed my heart. So I guess a wow in a sense of, it was just beautiful seeing, the couples thing is beautiful. That's expected. But I really enjoy seeing the kids for Valentine's Day.
Whoa.
My woe was experiencing the back pain like you did. I don't want to minimize it, but I also don't want to make it a big deal. But that was something that I had never felt before, and it just was a wake-up call to me at how important it is to take care of our health. For all of us who have experienced, when people go to college and they say they're freshman 15, well, we may have experienced that COVID-20.
What's a freshman 15?
They say when you first go to college as a freshman, you gain 15 pounds. And this is for people that go away. Okay. It's you gain your freshman 15, eating and stuff in the dorms.
Sorry.
I ain't go away to college either.
Don't know about no.
But that's what they call it, your freshman 15. And for COVID, since it was 2020, kind of a play on words your COVID-20, you gain a couple extra pounds sitting around. Well, baby, we are 3 years past the onset of, I don't want to say past COVID, but past the onset of the pandemic. You, me, we can no longer blame it on COVID. So my body is letting me know, sis, you are 42, get it in check. Because things ain't moving and working like they used to, and I want them to. And I know that I can get there, but that was kind of a way, and I don't know, what it was directly correlated to, but I'm taking it as a sign to get myself together, because back pain is no joke. And I don't want to feel debilitated in that sense unnecessarily. So I got other things going on. My damn hand, I think I'm getting arthritis. I just don't want to be shutting down. At 42, I'm still young and popping. I'm outside this summer. Why you laughing at me? I already told Toya, be ready, be outside.
What the fuck ever.
What's your wow and woe this week?
My wow is just the weather was beautiful. Mm-hmm. I've been getting peeps at outside, a half hour here, hour there. Not like I'm trapped in, just ain't been shit to do.
You said peeps, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like she holding me in the house hostage or some shit. Like I can
I
go
wish
outside.
I could be outside with you all day.
You know, I don't want to go out without her, without having my companion, but it's like when I did go outside today, it was fucking beautiful. And it was like, damn, the sun on your face. It felt really, really, really good. And the temperature was great. It felt like 65 degrees today. I don't know if that was the case, but it felt like it.
I think the high was 60, so it felt good.
That's my wow. My woe, not to like go dark, is just that it was another mass shooting at Michigan State, where 3 people was killed and 7 people were shot. 3 people killed. One person's name was Brian Frazier, Alexandria Verner, and the girl from reality TV Delicious, her niece was killed, Ariel Anderson. That was over there. So just, I know you, that was one of your wows a few episodes ago, but we constantly talk about mass shootings in schools around, and it's like every few weeks there's another one. This person didn't have shit to do with the school, just walked in and shot it up. Grown dude, like 40 something years old.
Black. Too.
Yeah, so it's just crazy shit going on. And just to not to report, but just to have like another mass shooting, like damn, like when is that shit gonna stop? Like it's almost like the worst thing you can do in our society is kill kids. Like it's I think that's like the worst crime you can commit in our society is kill children. And that shit has become a trend. Since Columbine High School, that shit has become a trend.
I was just gonna say that too. Like, I mean, I know Columbine was like the first time we heard of it. It was like so huge. You, not to like be smart, like you're not old, but you're a little older than me. Were there mass? Was that,
no,
that
Columbine
was the
first?
Oh wow!
Columbine was the first, and I think after that, I didn't hear about another mass shooting until Aurora, where they shot the movie theater up in Denver. That was huge. That's when people stopped going to the movies and was like, "What the fuck?" Like the exit door opened, dude killed like 17 people in the movie theater.
Yeah, there were others before. You know, one of the things that I found out, because like you said, I know we kind of talked about this a few episodes ago, maybe quite a few, but I was kind of looking for some research. I was looking for some data. There have been, you know what? It was around the time Uvalde, Texas. There have been so many that I wasn't even aware of.
I've looked it up too.
Yeah. And you know what it made me think of? Like this kid, I kind of seen the headline about Delicious niece, and then I was talking to you earlier about the train derailments. And one of the things that, you know, we probably said about ourselves before, we don't really watch the news like that. And it's okay to change your mind. It doesn't make you a hypocrite. It just means you learned and you grew. But I feel like I need to start watching the news more because the reason why I say that I don't want to be so engrossed in my phone all the time and to be my news source, because a lot of times I'm just scrolling, so I see headlines and then it's like, oh, what's this about? Then I go and search for it.
And probably it's misinformation.
Yeah.
Not saying you're gonna get the fucking truth from the news. But
that's true too. But I do feel like I need to start
decipher.
Just for awareness. To the point that I'm comfortable, and then when I decide I want to pull away a little bit, but because I think I found out about this probably. Well, when did this happen? Do you recall?
2 days ago, Monday.
So Monday, okay, all right. So maybe I probably heard about it the following day. But yeah, I just felt like, damn, I need to and then even with the train derailments, I felt like I need to be a little more engaged in what the hell is going on in the world. But, and even with the balloons and stuff falling out the air.
Condolences to her family and
to all of the
her
families,
mother and father and all that stuff. Her her siblings that she left behind. This shit has to stop, and that's sad. I don't know that girl from a can of paint, but I know her from being on TV. I've seen her before, and that's a fucked up thing. That your niece get killed in some shit like that.
To all of the families, condolences. It's horrible to be killed by anybody, or somebody you love, somebody whatever, somebody and you're fighting. But to be killed by a stranger for absolutely no reason, you be thinking, if you don't die immediately, I can only imagine you thinking to yourself, what the hell happened? Like, what just happened? Like, why am I dying right now? Like,
Because
why
you're in the
am
wrong
I?
place at the wrong fucking time, or because it's a lot of ways to look at it. Like, I'm here, and maybe I should be here, maybe I shouldn't be, but I shouldn't be here now while this shit's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
But
care
I
what
mean,
you.
if you're at school, like, did it happen in the library or something?
It happened in the study hall, like
Yeah,
where
so you
kids
think
eat lunch and study at.
There you go. And another thing too is
It was a room that held like 300 people.
It's a difficult thing that to kind of wrap our minds around and embrace. Do you think that every this would increase jobs, and not to say everybody would do a great job at it, but do you think that there needs to be security, like more security? Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right. So more. I seen somebody talk about schools, like public schools, and saying like there needs to be, or I heard it, at least one security guard on each floor. But it just makes me think like in every kind of institution, because you think about shootings at jobs.
It's just perpetuating more guns in places that we don't need guns. Like, I thought about that. And if you arm every teacher, or if that's too much, one armed person on every floor in the hallway, or you have an armed guard in the classroom, like, how's that shit gonna make, like, that can't be the new norm of kids going to school. Like, that shit is so different from when we sat in a classroom to, like, somebody back there with an AK-47.
But
like,
does the end justify the means?
No, because it's gonna, I think it's gonna, like, hinder or, it's going to hinder the kids from learning. Like, you're not going to be able to learn with a guy with an M16 standing in the back of the classroom.
Well, let me say this. Maybe not in that, like, you're right. I agree. That's very, it can be very traumatic for a child.
And so if some people say, well, that guy should be in the hallway. Well, what if one of the kids got guns? So what if you arm every teacher? What if the teacher have a bad day? What if one of them kids jump up in the teacher's face and they really feel scared and like their life on the line, or they?
Well, there needs to be metal detectors so that nobody's bringing a gun into the school for teachers and students everywhere.
No, I'm saying, I don't care if you have the different ways where they said the teacher should be. They should have
yeah, I don't
CCWs.
agree with that. I think
they should be able to have a gun in their desk or whatever.
I think there should be armed protection in the schools.
Where?
Not
Every
teachers.
Classroom?
No, maybe every floor. Maybe every floor.
So what if a kid got a gun?
There should be metal detectors.
There's
at
plastic
the door.
guns. There's Glocks. Glocks are made of plastic, and you can
Bullets
get the bullets
are
in
metal.
a different way.
How?
You can get them in a different way.
I mean, okay.
You
Is there
can get
any
them in the school, babe? You can find a way to get the bullets in the school without actually
metal
walking through the metal detector.
Okay, let's just say you can. I think there's always going to be some loophole around it, but at least if you put measures in place to try to stop it, it's better than not doing anything. Here's something you said: it can be traumatic for students. And I haven't shared this with y'all, but I shared it with my husband. One of my nieces told me that she doesn't think that she'll live to be an adult because kids are getting killed in schools, people are getting stabbed, and the world is crazy. This is a 10-year-old who told me, or she asked me, did I think that she would live to be an adult? And when I said yes and asked her why, that was her. She said, no, she doesn't think so, because hearing these school shootings, seeing the craziness going on in the world. So these kids are already traumatized.
That's so much deeper than traumatized for a 10-year-old to formulate an opinion like that, to come to a conclusion that
I'm not going to live to be an adult.
That's a well thought out analysis of herself, to think, I'm out, because obviously she doesn't know anybody that's been in a school shooting, but she sees it on the news.
Yeah.
But she just analyzed her own self,
like,
and
it's going to happen to me.
Yeah, it's going to happen to me. That's a hell of a thing for a 10-year-old to fucking analyze about herself.
So I would rather her think to herself, oh, wow, we have these people in school to hopefully protect us from the danger that I think is coming. I mean, again, I'm not saying it's the best decision, but I think something needs to be done. We can't just leave it at the mercy of crossing our fingers and hoping that our kids' school isn't
No, I
next.
just think it's way too far gone. I just think it's too many guns. It's just way too far going. Guns are too accessible to kids. People can go online. People can buy ghost guns and build them in their house. Like, this shit is crazy for kids to be in states where it's okay at 18 years old for me to just go take my allowance and buy a bunch of fucking guns, and it's cool, like it's the law. That shit's out of pocket, and it's more guns everywhere, and it's to the point where it's like they said back in the day, the war on drugs, like they ever was going to get rid of drugs. Like, that shit never was going to happen. It's this war on drugs. Like, it's too many guns. It's too many guns. It's like 400 million guns in the United States. That's way too many guns.
I agree, but I just feel like, okay, now what do we do? You gotta, unfortunately,
and you got 300 million people who will fight if you try to take them. Like a bunch of Americans who be like, God damn it, you ain't taking my gun. Right. Yeah, like you got those people.
Yeah, but at the same time, we have to think, okay, what's the solution? Do we just hope that it's not our kids' schools? Do we just... what do we do? Do we just wait until we hear what school is next?
It's
because
weird
we
because
know it's going to happen
this
again.
school gets shot up and it's a 17-year-old kid who bought a bunch of guns himself. This school gets shot up and it's a kid who stole his dad guns. This school gets shot up and it's a kid who got guns online where he wasn't supposed to. So there's 3 different ways right there that they're going to argue, okay, this is how it's happening, this is how it's happening. So the guy who stole his guns from his grandpa, you can't take away his guns. He's one of them
No, I'm not
people.
saying take away anybody's guns. We know that's not going to happen. How do we stop mass shootings in schools, in libraries, in the malls? I think if you have other people to fight them back, guess what? It's not going to stop it, but it may decrease the amount of casualties. So when that person busts in there and they start shooting, they might shoot 3 people, but if you get them, that stops them from killing 300 people.
That's true.
That's all I'm saying. You're right.
Still...
Yeah, the 3 people are dead, but the whole mall ain't dead.
I get it. Let's go on to lighter things.
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
Is
Super
that lighter,
Bowl,
though?
baby. Yeah, Super Bowl light. Eagles wasn't my team. Like, I like players.
I know, but we from Philly. We can't,
I'm from Philly, born and raised. But, on the playground where I spent most of my days. But I'm just saying, I like players. I love the NFL, but I'm not have an allegiance to any team like that.
But
I just never did, even when I was a little tyke.
I 100%
So let me get my shit out.
Why.
Super Bowl, game, performance, and call. So the game. How did you like the game? You sat down and watched pretty much the whole game. I think you walked away once, but you didn't miss no plays.
Yeah, watching the game, it was a great game. And you were right. If y'all saw episode 109, we gave our score. You were absolutely right, but in reverse. He thought it would be Eagles 38-35. Unfortunately, it was the Chiefs. That was pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
The game was so action-packed. I think sometimes the Super Bowl doesn't live up to the hype. I mean, it's hard for them playing the game out there, but it's like a whole lot of defense, not a lot of offense. Like, it was good on both sides. But I completely understand now and respect why you don't. It's almost like that fight, flight, or freeze thing where it's like, now, I don't even want to commit myself to that because then I'm setting myself up for heartbreak because it's a 50-50 chance that they lose. I know that people say, oh, well, the odds are this, the odds are that. It's 50-50.
Listen, I can like the Eagles. I can, they don't have to be my team where I'm an allegiance where I'm going to cry the next day.
Right.
Where I'm going to come in and my Monday is going to be fucked up because the Eagles lost. That ain't me. Now, will I enjoy the festivities and how nice people are and hold the door and go birds? Yeah, I'm going to do all that shit. But I'm not going to cry that night. I'm not going to knock my TV over. I'm not going to go in Monday cursing everybody out because the birds lost.
But I understand. If I was that committed the way I know a lot of fans are, which shout out to y'all, that's too much.
It is.
I'm not even that huge of a fan, and the anxiety was like, oh man. But when it was over, it was like, okay, what's on TV?
No,
like
you don't have a dog in the race.
Yeah, but to, like, people.
And again, if they win, it's
it
like,
been
oh
awesome
yeah, shit, my city, we
Yeah.
won the festive. Like, there's a lot of people out there who aren't diehard fans. There's a lot of people at the parade that are not diehard
but
fans.
they just celebrating because
they're
it's
just
Philly,
celebrating the inclusiveness of it and how the pulse of the city is. But to be in the house knocking your TV over, to be sitting on the sofa with a helmet on, that ain't me. Like, that's just not me.
That's funny.
So
the game, it was a good game. It was entertaining. It was
high offense,
packed.
high score.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of defense, because each defense gave up 35, 38 points.
Yeah, it was a pretty good
So it was
game.
touchdown after touchdown after touchdown.
Right off the bat, the Eagles came out within the first possession.
Yeah. Not the first time, the first possession.
I changed my words yet. The first possession. Yeah.
So it was a good game, live game, high scoring game, high octane, all that. I think, and a lot of the pundits the next day say it's probably one of the best Super Bowls played in the last 10 years. The Super Bowl, the Eagles have played in the Super Bowl twice in 10 years. So,
yeah.
Hopefully they'll go back. I don't think they will next year. They done lost a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator already.
Like, to go to coaching.
They went to go be head coaches, yeah.
That's because they did such a great... See, when you do a good job, then they want to take you.
It's deeper than that, because them two dudes are white. They were losing coaches in the Super Bowl and became a head coach 48 hours after they were fired. The black guy that coaches with Andy Reid been to 5 AFC championships, won 2 Super Bowls, had 10 interviews, and he ain't got a job yet, and he black. Eric Bieniemy. So it don't work. It's bad.
So wait. The Eagles coaches that went on to the new jobs, they didn't just get new jobs. They got fired.
No, they got head coaching jobs. They were offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator.
I understand that. You said they got fired and then still got another job.
No, they just took the job after saying I'm
losing.
out. Yeah.
Okay,
but they were losers in the Super Bowl.
I got you.
The guy Eric Bieniemy is a black guy. He went there 5 times and won twice with Andy Reid.
Yeah,
and he wasn't offering no head coaching job.
Who's surprised? Look at Deuce Staley.
Yeah. The halftime performance. What you think about Riri?
Stop hitting on the table. It makes a lot of noise.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I don't know what I do know what people expected. A lot of boom, bang, fireworks, pop, lock, dropping it, and all that. I mean, it was I think the Super Bowl performance.
When is the Super Bowl ever like that? So I don't know why people was expecting that. The Super Bowl is national TV with like 119 million views. Like, they're not gonna have no wishy-washy shit on there.
I mean, I know, but
they ain't gonna have Glorilla on there.
But it's usually a little more upbeat, if to say. Like, if I think about the whole G Unit, Dr. Dre thing they did. So it's usually a little more livelier. Considering her state of pending motherhood ×2, she was only going to do so much, but it was entertaining. I think she doesn't have any new music, and I don't know if people thought that she was going to premiere new music there, which why would she? Like, she's going to give you her hits, like the songs that people want to hear the most. I enjoyed it. I sang along with it. I think, I thought it was a good show. I mean, was it the best? No. Like, in the top of the Super Bowl performances? No, but I thought it was good. I wasn't disappointed at all.
Yeah, I think it was a great halftime performance. I did see,
especially not seeing her perform in a while.
Yeah, like, I did like all the songs she did. I don't know Rihanna's music like that, except for the slaps, except for the hits. But I think she did a fine job being 3-4 months pregnant. I don't know why that was a big deal for some people. I think that's more of a female thing than a guy thing, like to chat about. But, I think she did an awesome job. Like, she's awesome. She's dope. She's gorgeous. Like, who the fuck don't like Rihanna?
Yeah.
So
I thought she did. I mean, and people, and I think with performers nowadays, when they're on a big platform like that, you never know what to expect. But it's going to be a show. And it's not like they got a huge, like, they're not giving you a full concert. Like, they don't have a huge amount of time to do it anyway. So, for what it was, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
So she's just not something that she probably can speak to. But the Super Bowl, right? Let me just get my shit off. The Super Bowl, the call at the end, the holding call. So you play the Super Bowl, right? You got these 2 high octane teams, and they're scoring back and forth. And they always tell the referee to stay out of the game. Like, don't make yourself a part of the game, not unless it's something egregious happening. And you don't make one holding call or pass interference call the whole game. And that's what people loved about it. And then you wait to the fourth quarter on a 3rd and 8 to basically, if you throw your flag, then you end the game. Like, you actually end the game because you let the team score the touchdown and give them the first down, which gives them the opportunity to run the clock out. And I just think in a Super Bowl, you don't do that. Like, there's moments in sports, and that could have been a huge a moment in sports. If the flag is held, they score, now he gets the ball with a minute or two to tie the game. That's a more entertaining
then you kind of gave them a head start.
Yeah, it's like a more entertaining moment in sports to see what would that look like than for you to be the guy who threw the flag and ended it all.
You think he got some, like...
Yeah, he probably got death threats coming out of there, and he probably got...
I didn't mean to that extent. Like, people...
I'm not saying he should be killed.
No.
I'm just saying he probably got
saying
death
from
threats.
his job, though. Do you think he got?
Yeah, you're probably going to get scrutinized from that because you set the tone all game by not calling anything. And that's what we're loving about it. Like, the plays aren't being stopped. It's not taking long. It's not a lot of laundry on the field. No flags. We just watching the game.
Right.
Like, you would have said that. Why they keep stopping it? Why they keep throwing flags?
Yeah.
That didn't happen none all game. Then he gets to the end of the game on a 3rd and 8. That's what makes it even worse because it's 3rd down. Like, it's a difference between them getting a first down.
Right.
The ball wasn't catchable. And you throw a flag, and it's like you ended the game.
Now you start to move that first down.
Exactly. And now all they're going to do is take knees and run the clock out, and you don't even allow the team to have a sports moment to see what that would be. They didn't even have to fight for it. Yeah, they were going back and forth. Going, like, don't you want to see that? Like, they're going back and forth. Now Hurt's about to get the ball with a minute and something left. Like, let's see what happens here. No, I'm going to be the guy to throw the flag and end the game. Like, he did it. Not the players, he did it. And you one of the zebras. Like, that's not cool. That's not cool.
Yeah. I didn't even think about death threats. Sheesh, I can imagine. I was just saying.
In the moment, did you understand what was happening as it just was explained?
Yeah,
did you think it was a bad call?
I thought it was a bad call because it was so minor. Like you said, it wasn't
egregious.
Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot of calls during the game except for don't tell me what it's called, like neutral zone infraction and that kind of thing.
No penalties all game.
So for them to call it at that moment, it's and for it to give them that kind of leverage, it was like
to just run the clock out. Yeah, you killed the Super Bowl with 2 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, we didn't even
like
have
why
a
couldn't we
chance.
see the plays that would have transpired in those 2 minutes to see who won instead of you being the guy that says, it's 2 minutes, it's over.
You think he was like,
I don't know. I don't want to fucking say that. I mean, that would be drastic and dumb to do. They would find that out in 2 seconds. Las Vegas would put something like that out. Like the ref is fucking, he's fugazi.
But you remember what happened, that show that you was watching about them refs years ago?
In basketball, same thing they did to him. They put him out because he was fugazi.
Yeah.
Tiffany Montgomery.
Oh yeah.
See, I don't like that. You suck the teeth. Let me get the shit out. Tiffany Montgomery is a known pastor, very well liked. Not so much the last week or so, but before the last week transpired, very well liked, very well educated. A lot of people listen to her, and a lot of people go to her church. But she rebuked people who was going to the Beyonce. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. She rebuked people, Christians, for participating in the Beyonce concert, specifically the Beyonce concert. I don't know why. She could have just said secular music and it would have been a different story.
I told you why, but go ahead.
Then people brought up some tweets that she had put up after she came from a Beyonce and Jay-Z concert saying how she loved them. And she responded back very quickly that I was saved in 2015. Those tweets y'all grabbed was from 2012. Okay, well explained. She had wrote some books or something like that was kind of in question. And again, she had explained those books were written prior to me being saved and how she was saved in her shower and all this stuff. So I went looking deep into this stuff and I looked up two things. what does God and the Bible say about secular music? And in Ecclesiastics, this isn't a Christian show, but in Ecclesiastics 7:5, it says, it is better for a man to hear the rebuke, which is weird how that word is in there, the rebuke of the wise man than to hear the songs of fools. And everybody know the Bible is all about interpretation. So one person can read that and say, yep, there you go. And another person can read that and say, that's not what I get at all. But I'm just saying that's what was there. There's something, and there's a lot more books, Ecclesiastics, John, Psalms, all this stuff that talks about secular music. I also wanted to look up something else she said about the Christians and idols. So I looked up, what does God in the Bible think about idols? And that said, the idols of a nation are silver and gold, the work of human hands. The idols of a nation are silver and gold, the work of human hands, and not of him. Again, that's all it said. So, and that is in Psalms 135, 15 through 17.
And one of the commandments say, thou shalt not have any idols before me. So
those were her specific talking points. I rebuke you because you're not supposed to be listening to secular music. The stuff that's not godly and all that kind of stuff, shaking your ass, popping the things in church and all that kind of stuff that Beyonce say, and the idol part. So to speak to that.
So I know that it's not just Christianity. Also, Islam teaches about. I've heard some people say that they're not allowed to listen to music, or like they grew up not listening to music at all because of it being secular music. And that's in both Christianity and Islam. I can't really speak much to Islam. Like you said, it's about interpretation. And my thing is this: how do you allow that music to direct your life? I can hear something, but it doesn't mean that it's infiltrated my brain where like, oh, I'm going out here popping it and dropping it because I'm following what these songs say. Because I'm listening to something from an entertainment perspective, that's one thing. I don't know what God's perspective is on us listening to music in general and how that impacts our life
as Christians.
But again, I can imagine that he doesn't want us to fill our minds with any kind of filth. And
and that's what it said. I didn't want to write the whole, but I just looked up the music, but it said any kind of
filth. So whether you watching TV, whether you watching
magazines, anything of filth, anything that's not of him.
Reading books that aren't,
sexual novels and shit like all that stuff
like
is
that.
wrong.
So I think that what kind of events are you participating in? Are you gossiping? So people can't pick and choose the pieces that they want. And also, Miss Montgomery, Pastor Montgomery, whoever you are, God also says, thou shalt not judge. So the right thing to do is to teach people and to help people, but you are nobody to rebuke anybody. Like God may rebuke someone, but you don't have that authority because you're not God. Teach them, love them, and direct them, but not judge them. Now, when it comes to idols, it's a line, and it ain't even a fine line. It's a wide line.
And when you speaking from a point of this is what you do. Like this is something that can't infiltrate you as a person. You can't speak for the masses. And I'm sure you can agree that some people actually follow Beyonce, and some people think they Beyonce, and some people hang on what Beyonce says and does, and everything they dress, they want to be like Beyonce.
Yeah, but I mean, what is Beyonce really telling people to do that's so against?
Well, she has provocative lyrics. Let's not say she does.
I'm not saying she doesn't, but I'm saying okay, we think about her song Rocket, it's a very sexual song. Guess what? People out here doing that without listening to Beyonce's song too. So let's not say that they're living that life because of Beyonce.
Right. It doesn't make it
right. No, I'm not saying
it
makes it right, but I'm saying that we can't blame that on music, whether it's Beyonce or anybody. I'm saying we can't blame people's lifestyles or ungodly actions on music because whether that song is
I think you can because they did it with gangster music to a certain degree. Gangster music had an influence on how us young black men was acting in the streets. it has an influence on what you do when you fill yourself with that type of lyric all day, every day. You feeding yourself that's eventually what you want to do. You want to be like those rappers and be like the stuff that you listen to. Like, it happened in real time with me.
So if that's the case, then
so
I'm not gonna.
And when you talk about music, that's like the most influential thing on the planet is music.
Okay,
so
but
that can get
but
in
if we're
somebody.
talking about negative influences, I think Beyonce is far down the totem pole when we talking about the people like the Cardi B's or the Glorillaz or the City Girl or the Trina or the Little Kim or the Foxy Brown. Then we get to Beyonce, and I'm not saying Beyonce doesn't have sexual music. I'm not saying that she doesn't have, popping it, dropping it music. But I think when we want to talk about music that has a negative influence, she ain't at the top of the list. That's all I'm saying.
But what if they're not saying she's at the top of the list? They're just saying she's on the list. Like,
That's
you're
fine
right
too.
about the Cardi B's. You're right about the Glorillaz. You're right about the Meg Thee Stallions. Like, all that kind of lyrics is drop it like it's hot lyrics. Those aren't, and that started with Kim and Foxy. Like, I give you all that. I acknowledge that. But everybody acts as if, and I love Beyonce. I'm every show she go to, like, that's what we gonna be. But I hate when people act like she doesn't say anything that can point to, okay, that's a bit much. Like, whatever. What's that lyric where she say she dropping it in church?
Church girls getting naughty, something like that. Church, yeah.
No, like, do you know the exact lyric?
Not off the top. When the music is on, I can't think of it off the top of my
head. But
head.
what I'm saying is, like, that to a church person, to a Christian person, you're encouraging to act naughty in a church.
No, that's not what it says. She said church girls.
Okay.
I can look up the list. She says church girls. So she's not saying to do anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Inside.
What's the specific lyric?
All right, I'm going to tell you the specific lyric.
And all I'm saying is, like, you shouldn't, like, let's not act like she doesn't write provocative stuff. Like, when she was talking about what's the song that we used to love all the time? Her and Jay in the car.
In the car?
When she was like, oh, when I get to the thing, my lipstick off, implying that I was blowing my husband.
Yeah, but I was about to say her husband,
yeah,
too.
But I'm
Let's
just
also
saying,
look at it like
yeah,
that.
But you can't say just because we're married, I can just say these provocative things because it's my husband. It's the message that you're putting out.
I get it. And I'm not saying that she doesn't sing sexual stuff.
Yeah, but because you're going to have a 5-year-old who's going to say, why is her lipstick messed up? And
but that's where I disagree, because this is the thing. It ain't Beyonce's job. She's an entertainer.
It's not. But I'm just saying, you'll have a child ask, why is her lipstick messed up? What's the answer to that? If a child is watching that video, listening to that song because mommy playing it,
you make up some lie. She
day.
fell asleep with her lipstick on and it's smeared. Like, you make up a lie. You don't tell a child the truth. But all I'm saying is, yeah, we all heard lyrics growing up. Or actually, there were some songs that I wasn't allowed to hear, and I was sneaking and listening because that was my parents' responsibility. Oh, no, you can't listen to that. Turn that off. No, you can't buy that CD. No, you ain't gonna be dancing to that. So I hear you and I get it, but that ain't the artist's job.
No, it's not the artist's job to be the parent.
Right. So the song, it actually says, okay, starting from the top, I've been up and been down, feel like I'm on mountains, got friends that cry films. I warn everybody as soon as I get inspired, drop it.
Come on, you can't. Come on, get to the lyric.
Okay, it says I was looking for church girls. Don't drop it like a thotty. Drop it like a thotty. Church girls acting loose. Bad girls acting snotty. That's all she says.
Okay, but so
it
church
doesn't say
girls
to do
acting
anything
loose
in the church.
Okay, but she's saying church girls acting loose.
Yeah.
That's not a provocative lyric. That's cool.
The whole song is a provocative song, but church.
Is that a provocative lyric? So she could put anything in. She could have said
bad girls.
She could have not put church there. That's a decision to keep that there. When I might get some flack from the church people.
She was feeding into the stereotype that people say church girls are the freakiest.
Right.
So she was just feeding into that stereotype. I don't think. So going to the idol part, I was going to say there's a fine line, but it ain't a fine line. There's a wide space between being a fan and idolizing. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't crazy people out here that idolize, whether it's I was gonna say Brianna, whether it's Beyonce, Rihanna, Lady Gaga, like you really have people that are out here. You got people out here getting I seen somebody get a dream chaser tattoo. Like, you're not a dream chaser.
Babe, I
Meek
seen
Mill
people
don't
with
know
Joe
you.
Rogan on their leg, and I could show you 100 people with Joe Rogan on their calf.
Yeah, so
He
people
gets sent
really
tattoos
do
of that
idolize
every
people.
day.
But I think when people just broadly will just paint it with a broad brushstroke that if you're a fan of her music, then you're idolizing. I don't think about Beyonce unless a Beyonce song come on, or unless I'm trying to get some tickets.
That's
like
you
that,
and probably most of the people
that's
that
what
you
I was going
know.
to say.
But that's not most of that Beehive. That's not most of those people, babe.
I think it's most.
Nah.
I think you have a very small percentage of people that are like these crazy fans that's probably writing her letters or in her DMs.
So if all her fans are like you and your friends and the people that you know, when somebody says something bad about her, y'all ain't the ones that's attacking people online. That's a different fan base.
But
that's not your age group that's rushing to online to attack somebody for saying fuck B.
No, I know some people that will.
But that's not your major age group, is what I'm saying. Those are the 20-year-old Beyonce fans.
I don't think the masses.
Okay.
Are the
I don't think they're 40 and they're.
But I'm not talking about an age range. I'm talking about people in general from 10 to 60. I don't think the masses would fall under the umbrella of idolatry when it comes to Beyonce. And even if somebody is putting, bees in somebody's comments, I don't think that means that they're idolizing her. They're just, being a part of the banter. They're following the masses like idiots, just like, oh, I'm gonna go and do this to this person too because everybody's getting, like, when who was the guy that sang Sweet Home Alabama, Kid Rock, when he said Beyonce couldn't sing. I went to his page and was cracking up at all of the bees that people was putting in his comments. Those people probably did it and just went on with their day, not idolizing
to be honest, when I read about that story, that shit happened all day long for weeks.
And it was hilarious.
Yeah, but that's not normal people.
But I don't think
that's not you coming home from work adding a couple of bees. That's not your girlfriend. That's not Toya laying in the bed adding a couple of bees. No, those are the younger fans who hold on to what she says.
All I'm saying
who
is
idolize her.
I think that's a smaller percentage of people.
I think it's more of them than y'all. I think it's more of them than y'all.
We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, I think it's more of them than y'all.
And not only that, I also feel like there are people, we talked about this before.
If Beyonce is seen, sometimes she goes away because her and Jay, they like that mystique. You don't see us. When she's seen, people snap the picture, find out what she's wearing. If they can't afford it, they try to find something that looks like it. What's her hairstyle? What's her nails? What's her shoe? And they try to do what she does. What's the style? Oh, she got a long braid? I'm getting a long braid. Oh, that one picture we saw in 2 years, she got a long braid down her butt. Next thing you know, everybody has long braids. Oh, she had hoop earrings on. Next thing you know, everybody has hoop earrings on. Oh, she had these weird looking boots on. Oh, we can't afford them because they $8,000, but we can afford this kind that look just like them weird boots she had on.
I think, guess what? If the it girl from the neighborhood posts a picture and has on something fly, people do the same thing. So I don't think that is something.
It's on another level with Beyonce.
But I don't think it's just the way that people are, their minds are. It's the same way with Cardi B. It's the same way with Rihanna.
Because people, to a certain degree, idolize these people.
I don't think they idolize them. I think idolize is just a very strong word. That's
I know,
all.
and I agree with you, but I think like a lot of these girls want to dress like Beyonce, want to look like Beyonce, want their hair to be like Beyonce.
Okay, let me just say this. There are some I don't want to say girls, women, or pages that I follow that are like fashion pages, and it's like, oh, I like this outfit. I'm going to try to recreate that just because I like this person's style. So, all right, I might not have this exact jacket, this exact skirt, this exact boot, but I have items that look like this where I can kind of mimic or recreate this look. because I like the style. No, I do understand that people do that. Like Beyonce can probably wear, not just Beyonce, people of that caliber, they can wear anything, and people try to
and
copy
you're right.
it.
It happens with Rihanna. It happens with Cardi. It happens with the people who
But again,
I think their fan base. There's a certain part of their fan base who are like you, who love the music, who follow them, who is not like, I'm invested because I want to go to your concert. I'll support you, but you're not one of the Hive members who you heard that somebody said fuck B, and you gonna secretly go to your phone and put up some B's.
Nah.
That's what I'm saying.
I do wanna look, because I be like, they did the same thing with who was when they thought she was Becky with the good hair, Rachel Roy.
Yeah,
tore her page down.
And that's what I'm saying.
But
it's
I
on a
will
different
say
level,
this is
because
the thing.
when you read into that stuff and you hear about what she talked about, she was like, that shit happened for like a month every day.
This is one thing I will say, and this is one thing. This is how I know. Like, I don't care. Like, I like Beyonce, but I'm a human, and I ain't scared to say nothing. I don't like the fact that okay, I do like the Beyonce effect, as people call it, that Lori Harvey kind of adopted, where they don't speak on nothing. Mm-hmm. You think what you want, you believe what you want. Mm-hmm. I don't got to clear nothing up. I love that about them, and other people like them. I don't like, I wish that she would have given some kind of clue, but then again, maybe Rachel Roy was Becky with the good hair. But if she wasn't, then I feel like she should have it's kind of like allowing people to bully people, and you knowing that they're doing it in error, and you not stopping it. Now, maybe, and the reason why I say that, because I think I saw, well, like, it also affected Rachel Roy and Dame Dash's daughter, where like she was like, because she's like a teenager, 16, 17 or so, where people were even going to her page and writing stuff and saying stuff. And now, unless they had a private conversation, Rachel and Beyonce, and Rachel's like, I don't care about that, don't worry about that, then that's one thing. This is just my opinion. If that didn't happen, and she truly wasn't Becky with the good hair, and Beyonce sees that this is happening, I feel like that's your moment to be like, nah, I don't support that. Like, don't do that.
Did that happen?
She did. I'm just giving a lot of conjecture. She didn't say anything, but I don't know if her and Rachel had a side conversation where Rachel told her don't worry about it, or I don't know if Rachel really is Becky with the good hair. So that's all I'm saying. I would just think if she wasn't,
now,
I would hope that she
Lori
would stop
Harvey
the
the
bullying.
benefit of the doubt and say she has parents who move like that. Steve Harvey don't speak on shit. Marjorie don't speak on shit. But look how you correlated that with Beyonce.
And I'm not saying, it wasn't just me. I heard other people say that.
Yeah, I heard it too. I heard a lot of people say, look how she, Beyonce effect. She don't speak about nothing. You don't see her. She just do what she do, and that's so fly about her. People want to emulate that to a certain degree. You may say idol is a strong word. Maybe emulate is a better word. But people see her and see how she moves and see how she moms, and they want to emulate that to a certain degree because they are a strong fan of her.
But that's one thing that I think is a falsehood that people, I hope, because you don't see how she moms.
Well, so I'm not saying like I want to be a good mom because I hear it. You should want to be a good mom just to be a good mom.
Right, but I'm just saying, right, that's it. People see snippets or pictures of her kids, and then they feel like they know so much about them. Like, you don't know nothing about them kids.
Or
like,
just seeing something. Somebody could not be thinking about anything and be like, oh shit, Beyonce took pictures with her kids. I want to do that. I'm going to go set me a photo shoot up and take some pictures with my kids.
You know what I don't like?
You wasn't even thinking about that.
You know what I don't. People take pictures of their damn kids.
No, I know they do, but I'm just saying.
Which I'm sure we'll see, or I'm sure it probably already has happened. I don't like when people give their kids unique names, and then
where did that come from? She has the most uniquest name in America.
No, I don't want to give that to her because,
we will agree to disagree. But go ahead.
I'm just saying in general, because I mean, you got people like Gwyneth Paltrow whose child name was Apple, like.
But that's not a name. That's not a name. That's a fucking piece of fruit, babe.
All I'm saying is
people who name their kids Apple and after sports cars and shit like that, they're not names.
All I'm saying is what I don't like is like, okay, I've seen a snippet of like these twins whose name is Rihanna and Beyonce. and these little girls might be like, I seen this a few years ago, so they might be like 10 or so. And it's I don't like
it's the dumbest
that
shit ever.
when people do that. And so I'm sure like with her kids' names, you'll start seeing, you'll hear like little snippets, and I see a lot because of the field that I work in. How can I say it? Like, I see a lot of newborns' names, and sometimes I'm like, what the hell that say? But I'm sure I'll see that come across one day, like a Rumi or a Sir. It's like, come on, come on, you now you name me your child Sir.
Like, when you go that far to name your kid after somebody,
I still don't think it's idolatry though. I think it's just you just don't have a mind of your own. You're just being a copycat. And that point,
it's a certain.
You're being a copycat.
No, you're just playing semantics. It's just you're looking at this person and saying, "Damn, her baby named Rumi. I had a baby. I'm gonna name mine Rumi."
Like, I think idolatry goes a little bit further than that. Like, people copying off names from their neighbors. So I'm just saying, when it's like you're copying off a name because it's Beyonce's child, it's just corny. Like, people have named their kid. I've seen little kids named Kanye, and I think to myself,
that's stupid too.
Kanye West was the first time I ever heard that name.
Yeah.
And now when you see kids named, or even back in the day, I remember seeing people like grow up and their names was Kwame or Kwame.
Yeah.
And it's like,
same shit.
Y'all got that from Only You.
Yeah, it's corny. It's the dumbest shit ever.
But I don't think it's idolatry. That's all I'm saying.
I
it's
think
just
there's
being
a certain
copycat.
amount there. I don't think you're just. I think there's a certain amount there, especially when you go that far to name your child that. Like you like this LeBron. I'm sure you're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear like.
But I like a name that I was gonna copy off that I heard from somebody that's like a kind of a known person.
Why?
His partner, Maverick. Because I loved it. I thought that was such a unique name. I know, but wouldn't you,
if we were blessed to be, that was something like that was our life and blessed to have a child and we have a kid, wouldn't you want to think of a name on your own?
There's only so many more names you can make up.
No, it's not. They make names. You know how many babies born every day? All of them ain't named Mike and Jane and Joe.
I like Maverick.
I'm not saying it's not a good name. I'm just saying.
But
most you would think like, okay, this is my baby. I'm going to think of a name. Like, that's your job, not to steal another name.
Where did you get your daughter's name from?
That wasn't my job. That was her mom's job. She couldn't think of a name, so I came up with a name.
But where'd you get it from? Just tell the people where'd you get it from?
Jada Pinkett.
Okay. Okay, case closed.
All right. I didn't idolize her though.
Exactly.
Maybe a little bit. What have you learned? Mom was at the beginning. I didn't know, what she's talking about. I taught you. Yeah. So that was what you learned.
You know what?
After this, we get on to the grams.
This was. I think I may have mentioned this before, but if I did, so what? But this was my lesson for today. Harmony is better than balance. We always talk about seeking work-life balance and wanting balance in our life. And sometimes things won't come into balance because balance gives the connotation that it's going to, like a scale is balanced, is equal. And sometimes it just won't be. But things working in harmony is better than things being balanced. So that's what I learned today.
That's two things I learned. You had a good day at therapy. Because I know my wife for 21 years. I mean, I know her longer than that. But that ain't her talking. I know when she's talking. I know her brain. But I'm glad you received that.
I did. I actually wrote it down today. I put harmony better or greater than balance.
3 grams. Give me 3 hits. Okay. First one. If Trump is reelected, he has said he wants to bring back firing squads and public executions. Babe, in this world that we live in, right? We never thought we'd see Trump, a fucking apprentice dude, become president.
Right.
So all kinds of shit has happened since, like, he became president.
Right.
Right? So, like, can you imagine, like, somebody who deserves it, but it being a public execution? Like, I don't give a shit what you say, what I say. If in this country there's a public execution going to be televised, it's going to be on our TV, babe. How are we not going to watch that?
But can I tell you something?
What?
So do you know firing squads was one of the methods of execution used in some states like the United States?
Yes.
You know the last time there was an execution by firing squad?
No.
Just guess.
Last year?
No. 2010. So that ain't that long ago.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what made me think like, well, I didn't know that date.
I was looking for when was the last one because I know that it was legal in some states.
I'm just saying.
And people actually have a choice.
Yeah, say it's a pedophile. Say it's a guy who fucking stole from the government. Like, was this whatever? Like a guy who did some rotten shit, sold guns and killed mass amounts of people and deserved to die. And he wants to broadcast. He said public executions and hangings.
You know what it gives me the mindset of? Well, I mean, they still do that in other countries, but Homeland.
But can you imagine in this country we live in, and say in 2025, they're like, yeah, they're executing this guy on Channel 6 tonight at 8 o'clock.
Guess what we doing? We finally getting our beach house in Jamaica and we out of here. I'm not living in a country.
Like, that shit scares me, babe.
Yeah.
Like, to think we can watch on TV somebody get hung.
You know what's going to be sad? Because, okay, so he can't, and I don't think he can, but I'm pretty sure he can. He can't implement a law like that on him by himself. He needs, like, the backing of the Senate and all that kind of stuff.
He's got them people
in place. If they don't fight him, that goes to show you, like, that goes to show you how bad the world is, because that goes to show we don't just have this one man that's crazy like this. You mean to tell me ain't nobody, like, it ain't enough of y'all to, because he got to have more yeses than no's in order to, so you mean to tell me it ain't enough of y'all saying no? Is that many of y'all that are thinking like this? Yeah, they about to try and make us slaves.
That's fucked up. That made me stop and think, well, the chances of him getting reelected are very high.
Very
because
high.
It's just fucking Joe Biden he's running against. So he's probably going to be president again.
Or Kamala.
And he made it on January 6th a coup d'etat. So he can make something like that happen if he did a coup d'etat on the goddamn Capitol. So for him to be like, okay, we passing this law, and he got people in the Supreme Court and all these places that think like him. And then next thing you know, we seeing somebody getting hung at fucking 8 o'clock at night on Channel 6.
Let me hear you throw it out there one more time.
What?
What do you do, boo?
A coup d'etat. Like, that's some
French
cold
out
shit.
There,
yeah.
that Francois.
I know what he did. People just call it a coup, but it's called the coup d'etat. It's some French shit. Second grade. This 21-year-old Sandy Hook survivor didn't say his name. 21-year-old Sandy Hook survivor survived the Michigan State shooting also. He was 11 years old when he was in Sandy Hook when that shooting happened. Got grown, went to college, and Michigan State just happened the other day. Second time he was in a...
I hope that poor baby's in some therapy.
This is something that I didn't know, though. He said when he was 11 years old, because he was in a hunch position for so long, that he suffered PTSD fractures in his L4 and L5. Being clenched like that for so long.
I mean, but when you
I didn't know that you can have PTSD fractures. So he says these things flare up in any high, tense anxiety situations.
I was about to say, that's probably like such a unique case, because not only was he hunched, he probably was hunched and so tense. Yeah. So that's...
And he was like that for hours, he said, with his other students, 11 years old. So he was a kid. He was fucking scared shitless.
Yeah. It's one of them things
he probably pissed himself.
But it goes to show you how your body reacts to things, and
it just starts breaking.
But I'm not making any jokes about it at all. But you know how they say, why they say we should eat halal meat?
Why? Because
they say that when non-halal meat, when cows are slaughtered, like, because they know what's about to happen, they tense up and release that. So it makes you...
poisons the meat a little bit.
Right, what goes through your body. So it lets you know when you're in fear like that, anything could happen to your body. And that's probably why, like, the tenseness, the chemicals, the nerves running through his back, that probably... And like you said, him being so tight, your L4 is your lumbar. So that's like...
So you just broke your own back.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is. That's
crazy. Like, we talking about when this shit gonna stop. That's one kid that was in a shooting where masses amounts of kids were shot at 11. He was 11 years old.
But just to think,
and
now
he's 21 in
happening?
college, and it just happened again.
I hope he believe in God.
Like, it's crazy.
Because he got some angels on him, but guiding him.
Yeah, he wouldn't say what his name was, though, but shouts out to that dude just for being a survivor.
Yeah.
Last, Graham, on a joking tip, if you could form a word of your own and put it in the dictionary, what would it mean? Like, Tasha can make her own word and her own definition, and it means this.
Wow.
A new word.
That's like, first, what would I want it to mean?
I thought about this.
Like, what would yours be?
Mine, I wanted the long word. So mine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 letters in my word, and my word is jabrocious.
Jabrocious?
Jabrocious.
Oh, jabrocious.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean?
And it means you are afraid of people whose names start with J-A. It's so funny. It took me like 10 minutes to think about that.
Wow. That's pretty, I mean, that's pretty creative, inventive of you to think of that. I mean, and you think how many people would fall under that category to be afraid of people that start with J-A?
So what would your word be, and what would your definition
Well,
be?
you had like 10 minutes to think of this. So let me come back to you now. Let me come back to y'all with my word next week.
Wow.
Like, sheesh, can I have a moment? Like, that's a big one. Like, that's a good question, but
Do you think you would want a short word or a long word? You want like a 3-letter word or a 10-letter word?
Maybe like 7. Like, something like...
Quick. 1 syllable?
Yeah, like... Shoot it.
Let's go back.
And that means get the F away from me. Shoot it.
Act 2 the podcast, episode 110. This was fun. You guys can catch us on act2thepodcast.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Breaker, Anchor, Spotify, TikTok, and Instagram. Got them all that time. It's your boy International Walk.
No. Who are you?
It's your boy International Walk.
It's your girl Tosh.
The co-host is with the mostest.
I can't get it right. I'm going to get it right next time.
If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace. You botched this shit.